Hello. Tonight we're discussing spiritual awakening. It's a phenomenon that's been around for several years now. And what spiritual awakening is people like all of a sudden they just start noticing more things in the spiritual realm. Some folks may be experiencing hearing voices, having dreams. It's a spiritual awakening. And they may be reading the Bible, trying to decipher, hey, what's going on with me? Am I mental ill, or am I having a crisis here? Or and then some have spiritually awoken on by dabbling in things, like communicating with spirits, tarot cards, doing mediums, paranormal, even paranormal investigations. Um, it triggered this spiritual awakening, something that is inside of them, and now they maybe don't have someone to kind of guide them now. They um, they have these gifts, abilities, and they are just learning how to use them, or they're just discovering they have gifts and abilities, and now they're coming across entities, beings in other dimensions, and there's communications going back and forth, and it's and they're getting their imagination is very powerful. Imagination you can use in prayers. Um, you If you can imagine something, you create it in your mind, and Indian book offers, movie producers, or just anyone with good imagination can create stories and create all this stuff in their mind, and it's sort of like a matrix in the mind. um, and then they don't know what's real and not real. Because it's belief too. When you are dealing with anything paranormal, is unexplainable, uh, and it really comes down to, what do you believe? Do you believe in God and the devil? You really have to dig deep, because you're going to experience paranormal. Uh, things are you might Things might fly across the room. You might have lights going on and off. You might hear voices. Sometimes you're not the only one that could hear the voice. I've been in a lot of haunted homes, and we all hear the growls, or hear animals, or we hear a voice. And the EVPs that they get are just off the wall. They answer questions. So there is evidence, there's proof, um, that there is these beings in other dimensions. There's ghosts, there's what we call demons and angels too. So is there a war going on? Are they trying to get you to their side? Which side? You're like a baseball card. They want you on their team. Um, but a lot of people have awakened to this, and it's can be really frightening. Um, because maybe you go to church, maybe you read your Bible regularly, or there's many different beliefs too. Um, but in reality, it's when we die, that's when we know. You can YouTube videos all day, all night, and you get people that have near death experiences, and they have similarities in what they're saying, and they don't even know each other. Is this proof? Life after death. They believe they died and come back, but then again, did they really? Was it is all? Did they really die? Did they really die and come back? Maybe they all watched the same television show, read the same book, stuff like that. We don't. A lot of us have watched all these movies, watched the History Channel, know all this terminology nowadays that we didn't know years ago, because the information age is, it's a speedy, instantly information. Now you don't have to go to the library and check out books. You can Google something or use artificial intelligence to look things up for you. Um, that information is speed. It's, you get instant speed, and what you do with the knowledge is, you have to use it wisely. But sometimes you get knowledge and it could be harmful. Uh, and then there's disinformation. There's people spreading disinformation, and not getting the facts right. It's like the telephone game. They tell you one thing, by the time you get to the end of the line, this completely different thing that was said. So they're cherry picking information, putting it together. And some folks that I talk to is like, it is a combination between um, Avatar, Matrix, and Spider-Man, multiple dimension. No, I'm serious. All these people have seen all these movies, and that's going into their mind. And the subconscious is very powerful. Now, there's belief systems where you create your own angel, and that angel stays with you, good and bad. It's a good and bad, like on the good side and the bad side. And the Native Americans have the same too. It's like everyone has a wolf and a dog, and it's what you feed the most is what you become. So if you want to become the wolf, or you want to be the servant, the dog, it's what you feed. So good and evil, uh, light and dark will always exist. One can't exist without the other. If there is no light, then there is no dark. If there's no light, no dark, no dark, no light. It's all together. So there's always going to be good and bad in the world. And the whole thing too is going down the rabbit hole of information, and you get deeper and deeper and deeper, and you just more questions and more questions. And what I see, mistakes that people are making, when they're dabbling in any kind of the arts, I call it, like they say, the dark arts, the cults, and um, is they don't know what they're doing. You give someone a loaded gun, you never shot a gun before. Yeah, there might be an accident, them or someone else gets hurt. So that's what some people are playing Russian roulette. Uh, they're summoning beings, they're talking to beings, and now this being don't want to leave. Now he wants to bring his buddies over and have a party in your place. Now you open up a dimension, the portal, and you don't know how to close it now. It's like you're playing with fire and you're gonna get burned. um, but the whole thing is all this distractions. The devil is the master of illusion. God is omniscient. God is everywhere at one time. He's in us and around us. We're never alone. God is always there. No one, nothing can say that you're ever alone. The devil, the demons, no person, even if they're thrown in prison, you're never alone. God is with you. He's there. He's inside of you. God's inside of everything and around everything, the good and bad. God is always there. You're never alone. So only God is omniscient. So angels, demons, and spirits, and they're not. Uh, they are not omniscient. They cannot be in one place at every time. So when all these prayers go out, to Archangel Michael, the defender, the protector, he cannot be in one place at all time. He's not God. He's an angel. The devil's the same way. Yeah, they're fast. Maybe through light, teleportation. How they travel is mystifying. If you're into quantum physics, teleportation, even light is faster than sound. So you see the lightning before you hear the sound of thunder. Light is laser light, speed of light, is the fastest, so maybe these angels and demons can manipulate the light, like sending signals, messages, or teleporting through light. But that's only speculations, and we have concepts and theories, but we don't really know. And that's what paranormal is. It's unexplainable. But the awakening that people are experiencing, I believe a lot of people are getting drawn uh, into a web of lies and self-destruction, and they just get deeper and deeper. And unfortunately, I believe the smarter someone is, the smarter their intelligence and their IQ is. That's even worse for them, because these beings are so manipulated. Uh, they've been here since the beginning of time. And even what they are, people are like, wow, are these beings that are communicating with me? Is that really, a lot of them pretend to be a dead parent, parents, uh, relative, someone they know, and it's not. It's not them. It's manipulated, and these spirits can pretend to be something. Now I'm not saying that someone doesn't get visitation from a parent or a loved one that has passed on, but I believe it's the veil that God has put. Because if you read the Book of Enoch and the Watchers, and they were assigned to watch the humans, and they came down and mated with the women, and then Philium, and then Enoch, these watchers came to Enoch, and and try to get him to get back in good with God's grace. But no, God said it's going to flood the world to get rid of the evil that has become, through the conceptions of the Nephilims, and he spared Moses. And the Book of Enoch, it says that Enoch has risen. He was risen and more or less didn't die, but become an angel. And there's so much information, and everyone's bombarded with the information, and you're trying to decipher and trying to figure out, hey, what do you accept or what you don't accept? And because we all know the Bible's made up of books, the canon books, and there's books that are left out. The Book of Enoch's left out, Book of Thomas, and there's other books that are left out of the canon Bible, and even there's signs of control. Even any belief system that you can look into, as how they control people, manipulated and try to control the people too. So any way you want to look at it, but man has had a hand in a lot of things, but also maybe these beings and other dimensions have had a hand in it. But it's all a distraction. What is our main purpose here on Earth? And when we awaken, a lot of people feel that we're going to ascend to a new kind of a planet, and there's going to be changes, and then the people are awakening are those that are helping those people to ascend. And there's all these possibilities, and you can go down the rabbit hole, and you're never gonna really know for sure, 100%. You're never gonna know for sure. I think God made it that way. Like when we're dealing with top secret information, we have like stealth fighter or built or warships or some top secret devices get built, and we don't let one place build it all. We separate. So we have separation. We have different denominations. We have different belief systems, because God made it that way. It's not, there's going to be Christians, and there's division among Christians. There's going to be the other groups too, Islamic. There's going to be the Jewish, and you're going to have a split up. Everyone's not going to agree on their beliefs and things like that. You got to have some believe a little bit different, like Catherine Lutheranism. There'll be little differences. No one's going to be uh, come to 100%. And just like in the Bible talks about the Tower of Babel, it's when they built the tower, try to reach heaven, and God destroyed the tower and gave them different languages, because God wanted to divide the people. He didn't want them to come together like that, and build the tower. So I think this is the way God has it planned. But also life lessons. So Earth is like the school, and we're here to learn. Maybe we are going to transcend, hopefully, to a better reality. You know, no war and no evilness. Maybe to a better time. And but the thing is, we're here now. So I think what's going on is people are getting distracted from what their mission is. And so when they're listening to these false, these entities that are claiming to be their loved ones, relatives, and they really aren't, and they're just playing games, and they're dragging them down the rabbit hole, and they're using their mind against them. It's like spiritual judo. It's like you use the force that comes at you, you flip it around, use it against them. Anyone that studied martial arts and judo, no, you can. The big opponents come at you, and you can. That force is strong, but you can't stop it. You can redirect it, and I believe that's what's going on too. Is like that you have the good and bad, and these beings are trying to manipulate our dimension to create a dimension for them. Maybe um, um, probably it's not a transcendent. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe there's other limited possibilities. But you could have beings that are fooling us, thinking, "Hey, yeah, we're going to transcend to this no level," but no, they're transcending into our our universe, our planet. They're going to take over us. Uh, and they're really not here to help you. They're here to feed you lies and steer you straight, isolate you from your loved ones, and then send you down the wrong path. So there's different ways of looking at it, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. One, you have to ground yourself, and just like Gladiator, he's in the arena, and he reaches down and he gets that dirt. He gets that dirt in his hands, and he feels that dirt, and it slips through his fingers. He's grounding himself. He's there. He's there in the arena. If his thoughts are somewhere else, he's not going to make it. His mind has to be focused, sharp, and he's got to concentrate. That guy's going to after him to kill him. One slip of that, and then he's dead. He's toast. So and just like in martial arts, like you're in the dojo now. Leave your thoughts and all that outside, and you're here for training. Don't be thinking about all this and that. You're here in the dojo. You're here for, and just like he's in that arena, but you grounding yourself. Instead of thinking all this other stuff, all this quantum physics, parallel dimensions, and there are hundreds and thousands of different worlds out there. It's just endless. So your mind is scattered. So how are you going to function in your life? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to take care of yourself or your kids, or um, your mind's off in a fantasy land. And hey, who's saying it could be real or not real? You're never going to know. But the thing is, you have to ground yourself in your mission here at this time, this date. Don't think too far in the future like that. People think I got to do this and that. No, the world's ending. No, they've been saying that for years. The world has never ended yet. Only God knows, if it will ever. Probably will not ever end. There is a God, he's the Almighty. He created the world, and if you don't have some faith, you think the meteor's going to hit the earth and we're going to die or whatever, or, that's you. You have a choice to believe in what you want to believe. If you want to listen to some spirit telling you all this other crap, which I call it crap, is BS. In the military, they call psychops, and psychops is where you can psych out your opponents and get them to harm themselves because one, maybe they're in a fortified position and you can't get to them, and the only way you can get to them is through communicating false disinformation and psychops, tricking them to you know harming themselves or other people, or others that are there too. So the psychops is what's mainly going on with these spirit beings, because they have limits here. uh, they're attacking your minds and stuff. They're playing games with you. But the whole thing is, we have these little skin mites around our eyelashes, and no one will ever notice them, not unless they're there. Someone tells you they're there, or maybe if you have a skin problem, it's because the little mites, you get too many of them, then you might notice or something. But they're microscopic, and their purpose is to feed off the dead skin. And you have hundreds of them on your eyelashes, and you may never even notice it, or maybe notice it, but you go on about your day. You go about your day, you don't worry about those mites. They're not hurting you. They're just eating the dead microscopic skin off your eye. You know, they're actually doing a good job for you, really. But the thing is, and people are getting so wrapped up into this other dimensional and awakening, they're forgetting what they're really supposed to be doing is their life lessons here on this earth, not on another plane, not on another existence. God didn't set it up for you to talk to these spirits and things like that. God's angels, God's angels, they don't do like the Watchers did anymore. God's got a veil, this veil around us, and these angels, God's angels, will give a message. They don't sit down and have coffee with you. They don't tell you the lottery numbers. They don't tell you what shirt to wear, the future, this, that. Not unless there's a message from God. It's a message from God. They're messengers, so they'll give you a message, and then that's it. They're gone. Boom. Why is that? Because their presence will distract us from living a normal life, or interfere with our life lessons, because we are being distracted by them. So the angels that are assigned to us and protect us, 24/7, they have the ability to not be known or seen or felt. Even the evils that is out there doesn't even know they're there. That's their ability. God gives them this ability. They don't know. The devil himself might pop in or something, and you have angels around. He even knows the devil. The devil was an angel, so the devil knows that he's limited. And if you think about it, would you put your child somewhere that they could be endangered? So why would God, these fallen angels, be here on Earth? There's one, they can't really. It's us that are harming ourselves. We give them the power, and how they're harming us is through the, through the people that are basically kind of hosting them, I guess. They're not really possessing them, but they're letting them into their lives. And how you're hosting them is you're sitting down having coffee with them. Oh yeah, this is my dead mom. This is my dead dad, or what? Brother, sister, uncle, cousin, uncle, and it's not, because why would they be there? They'd be in heaven. you know. So, but they do. I believe that the relatives and loved ones can visit, but not in a sense of physically visit you. Uh, More like like a video chat or something like that. Uh, you hear their voice or something, but they're not there in the room with you, or they're not there with you. Uh, but they can like communicate. But I think it's more of a one-way communication, and the Navy has that too. It's like when the subs are out at sea, and you probably hunt for Red October, some communication issue, and uh, they got ordered to launch a nuclear weapon, and they don't know whether it's the enemy doing psychops. See, psychops trying to hurt yourself. So they don't know, but there's a one-way communication. It uses electromagnetic frequencies, and it goes into the water, and then the sub has a hydrophone, and the hydrophone decodes it. So, but the sub can't send that message back. It's a one-way communication. And I believe that you have some like visitations from your maybe people that pass. It's a one way, because God doesn't want that communication. You're here in school, you're here to learn your life lessons, and a lot of things aren't in the Bible, and a lot of folks get wrapped up too much. The Bible's your guide, your compass. Yes, the Ten Commandments. Yes, and all the wisdom, all the knowledge is there. But the Bible's not going to tell you how to change your tire on your car, or change your oil, or the Bible's not going to tell you certain things. Certain things that you're going to have to learn on your own. You know, you have to have common sense. And if someone uh, misspells a word and it has a whole new different meaning to it, or the translation it gets lost, or someone creates whole new different phrase or something, you have different versions. It's like the telephone game. But the thing is, you have to have faith, but have faith that there is one God and He's in and around you. And with the awakening, yeah, using your spiritual gifts, are you going to use it for good or bad? If you're communicating with spirits, I think that's going down the wrong road there. People do have natural abilities, and there are gifts from the Holy Spirit. The Corinthians, there's faith, healing, wisdom, knowledge, prophecy, discernment, talking tongues, interpreting tongues. Prophecy is also in there too. So um, there's gifts from God, and then there's gifts from maybe these other beings, or the devil might empower you with some gifts too. A lot of times when people go through the awakening process, they'll get the visitations, and these spirits will kind of introduce themselves to you. You're maybe half asleep, half awake, or um, and they might even, you might get the feeling that's like, do you accept me? The spirit is asking you to, if you accept them as like a guide or something like that. And then if you accept them, and then you get a spiritual attachment. And the spiritual attachment, this spirit, is it a good or bad spirit? And then in the book of Acts, I believe there's when Paul um, exorcised the slave girl. She had a spiritual attachment, and the slave girl was following Paul while he was doing evangelism, and the demon inside her, or was attached to her, was mocking him, and he got tired of it, so he cast the demon out, through Jesus' name. And then the slave girl happened to be like a fortune teller, and she lost her abilities. She couldn't tell fortune, because that fortune teller abilities was because the being was attached to her. And they threw him in prison because of that. And I've experienced that myself when I went to a fortune teller. I had a Bible in my back pocket. This is years before I was before I became a minister. And I right off the bat, I could sense, and since a kid, I could sense spirits and things and see and things like that. But I went to the fortune teller, I was just going through one of those times and, kind of looking for answers. And, so I went to the fortune teller and I knew right off the bat, I could sense the spirit. And she told me things that, that she shouldn't have known. And the spirit was helping her. And yeah, I could sense her right next to her. And I was supposed to do a 3 session. I came back and she gave me a crystal. And, uh, I don't want to get sidetracked. But anyway, her abilities come from a spiritual attachment. Now, people that are getting awakening, they have spiritual gifts that are awakening. And then you'll have these beings that want to kind of come and like be your guide, but they might even give you other abilities and things too. But it's not going to be a god. These some abilities aren't from God. You know, and there are people I ran across that have abilities, and they're very dangerous people, and that you don't want to mess with them, and they have these abilities, and it's not from God. Now there's people that have abilities too, that aren't using spirits, and that could be like someone could actually pick up maybe a thought or something you're having, a feeling, or someone can pick up information from you yourself, because we're a walking book. What we see, what we hear. They even prove in hypnosis, that you can recall a license plate or something, like, wow, a month ago, hypnosis. So the mind is very powerful, but it's a recording too. All our information is being recorded. And I believe that some people have the ability, they're not using spirits or anything like that. But I believe that some people have awakened and have these abilities, and they can sense things and know things a little, but the future's not set. So like people that are doing fortune telling, everyone knows that you have a choice of free will. You can change. The future is not set. So even if someone told you something that's going to happen in the future, doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just means it's one of the variables that could happen. It's one of the, like quantum physics. There's thousands of Earths out there, parallel universes. But the thing is, don't get sidetracked. You have to ground yourself, don't go off through the rabbit hole and get lost. What's your mission on Earth? What are you doing? What are your goals in life? What, if you're young, you want education, you want a good career, um, is setting goals, you have hobbies, and too much of one thing is not good, so, when people smoke, when smoking, and smoking was really not intended to be smoking as much as people are smoking nowadays. And also the tobacco has been manipulated too, the nicotine and the chemicals in there. And so there's cancer causing things in tobacco and things. And it's real addictive. The nicotine is it does something to your brain, rewiring your brain. And it's like working out, the stimulant. But the whole point is tobacco and smoking tobacco has been used in rituals, all different kinds of rituals, coming from medicine people all the way to Amazons, all over the world. Even different types of religion, uses tobacco and alcohol, and then other people, other religions have stimulants and things like that. The Native American church has the peyote. That kind of opens them up to spirit and things like that. And South America and the jungles, and they have their swallow away, things like that. And uh, people have the different concoctions, and it just will open them up to the spirits and things. But the awakening, it's a phenomenon that's going on, but you just have to be careful. Uh, I wouldn't trust, that's just me. I wouldn't trust no spirit. I have many come to me asking me to give me this and that, and this and that. That's not of God. It's like I go through God and the Holy Spirit. There's difference too, and knowing the difference between God and these other things. When the Holy Spirit talks to you, it's different. And one is the God is never going to tell you that. Well, there's probably instances of war and things like that in the Bible. There's probably examples, but the New Testament with Christ, is like never going to tell you to hurt someone, you know. And when you have entities and they're getting you, uh, want you to do bad things, that's not of God. God wouldn't tell you to do that. I know the Old Testaments, they had wars. That was a little different. But nowadays it's changed. When Jesus came, he is through him how we found our salvation. He came to like correct us. It steers back on the right path. Maybe because these beings and entities, they've been around forever. So it's just now that we're caught up with information and technology and things that are making it maybe more easier, because like a kid or someone wouldn't even know about possible dimensions and this and that, but they watch the television shows and all that. The brain takes all that in. You can be sleeping your television on, and your brain is taking in that information. So you might not be even aware you fell asleep watching television and a show came on, and now you got information stored inside of you, all the information you had since a little kid. I remember till 3. I can remember age of 3, maybe even 2. Um, but yeah, not a whole lot, but I have some memories, all the way back to about 3 years old, and because my brother is 3 years younger than me, and they brought him home in a basket, and I remember that. I remember we used to play in the basket. And then we had chickens when I was little too, and I was scared of the chickens jumping up. But this recording, is through our DNA and everything, so it's inside of us. We're recording everything, and that's probably why we have the flash of our near-death experience, and you have your life flashes before your eyes. Your whole life, it's all recorded in there. But the main advice I can give for someone that has an awakening is discernment. Pray to God, ask for discernment. And say, is this of you? If it's not of you, take it away. Because you can be tricked. So if you go through God, seek God first, and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, and you seek them first. But anything that gets to you has to come through them. But once if you take on these guides, spirit guides, this and that, now you're in communication with them, and now they just kind of suck you more in there, and so they get you to cross that line of protection. And the protection would be that you are breaking universal laws, God's laws, especially if you're going to hurt someone or trying to hurt someone, you're breaking laws, you're breaking people's free will, trying to do certain spells on people. You're breaking God's free will spells, trying to dominate that person. And, prayers aren't like that. We're always praying for healing and health, and if it comes back at us 10 times, then it doesn't hurt us because we're sending out good. But don't be tricked. And this is a phenomenon that all these people, lots and lots of people are waking up. And then also, my role is with paranormal and also the awakening is talking to someone that has like experience that you have. If you're talking to someone that hasn't experienced it, they're gonna look at you like, "Wow," you're like, "Whoa." And sometimes you just need to find someone to talk to, and it helps you. It helps ground you back. But the main thing is getting grounded, because your mind would just go down the rabbit hole, and you have these questions that cannot be answered. That we're only going to know when we cross that veil, that other side, and that's when we're going to get the answers. And those that claim that they've been across and came back, maybe we not for certain, but maybe. I mean, until you personally experience that, you know, then yeah, it's just like being in the paranormal club. It's like if you haven't experienced paranormal, you won't know what you're talking about, because it'll sound Greek to you. So, but definitely ground yourself, have goals, don't get distracted for your goals, like if you're trying to get your education, that's very important, for your future. And if you're older, you have your retirement years, you don't want to enjoy life. You don't want to be going down some rabbit hole, uh, disillusion, and things like that. And the whole point is that, yeah, maybe there is something going on. But the thing is that you're here in this time. You're here in this time. You need to concentrate on this time, and don't go down the rabbit hole. Well, anyway, God bless, and I could probably talk for more and more, but I better end the video. Well, God bless you.